Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Friday edition of Moohead Radio. I'm your host, the big and furry bovine. Joining me on the panel so far today, in the moments before a Cleveland Browns preseason game one, is Derek Frisbee of DF Sports, and Renee is back with full-time headset on.
Yes, sir.
Well, one thing
charged today, huh?
I'm sorry, what?
I said you get it charged today?
Oh, yeah. We're good.
There you go.
You know, that's one thing that I can say about Renee, and that is she gives great headset. All right. You've been christened.
Hey, notice who's not here today.
Who is not here today?
Oh, the good-looking guy.
Yeah. No.
Oh, Coach Wilson. You scared the hell out of him, Renee, in the last
Apparently.
I told you.
I'm like old enough to be his mother, so.
Well,
no.
I mean, you know, it doesn't stop some guys. You never know. Maybe he doesn't trust himself when he hears your voice. Here's the deal, folks. Deshaun Watson has announced earlier that he's willing to accept an 8-game suspension, $5 million fine, according to the Associated Press. That's a couple of friends of mine in Northeast Ohio are convinced it's going to be a 12-game and $10 million fine when all comes out in the wash. I wouldn't doubt anything at this point. So far, absolute silence from Peter C. Harvey, absolute silence from the NFL. Why they're letting Deshaun Watson start this game without updating this, I'm not sure, unless somebody has said, well, maybe we should think about this. I've never known the NFL personally think about anything. They just go right ahead and do whatever the hell they want to do.
That's right.
Enjoy him playing tonight, because, you know, who knows when we're going to see this again.
And you're
Here's
not going to...
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, please.
I was going to say, here's the super kicker for me. Deshaun Watson and Trevor Lawrence, both Clemson players, both national champions in college football. Who do I pull for?
Is Trevor playing tonight?
Yeah, from what I understand.
Yeah, I heard he's going to start.
Because this is their second preseason game, and normally this is the tester, so...
That is right.
The thing with Trevor Lawrence, I was never a big Trevor Lawrence believer compared to what I felt about Deshaun Watson when he was at Clemson. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, there's a big step to be taken between season 1 and season 2, and it's just not easy winning with the Jaguars. Let's be honest about that. And Trevor wasn't going to get a whole lot of help there. But I'm not sold on him. Just
okay.
not.
Tonight, if you're going to see it, which I just signed up for NFL Plus, so I'm looking to get that put together because it will be on that one. But as far as Trevor is concerned, he also has Travis Etienne, who is absolutely fabulous.
Right.
He was missed a great deal last year, but we have to consider Urban Meyer was there. It was a screw up of a year. So
it was a bad hire. It was a bad hire.
It really was.
I don't even know that he wanted. I don't know why he went there. I don't know.
Crazy money.
You got it.
Just bad. And the fact that everybody is so pro Ohio State, and the fact that, you know, his Urban Meyer's record was so good at Ohio State. But, you know, look at what happened, to Holtz, Notre Dame's coach, when he tried to go to the New York Jets. It was like kaboom. It just never happened, you know.
Nick Saban.
Yes.
Is widely renowned as one of the best, if not the best, college football coach, and he failed in the NFL. So it's not the same game. It's not the same game at all. It's very weird.
And this is an interesting prediction by one of our viewers. When the Jags are finally good again, right after that season, they'll move to London. And there's every indication that they've played in a number of games in England. And
they did. and I got to see some of those, but and I was really excited about it. I'll tell you, they did not have an O line last year.
Right.
Trevor had no help. That's his first year out. He's slow. Do I expect to see the slow Trevor this year? I don't. I expect to see that Doug Peterson has done his job.
Well, Doug Peterson knows quarterbacks. The thing with
Right.
Trevor
He
Lawrence,
was a quarterback.
yeah, I mean, I don't understand. I never thought that Trevor Lawrence was explosive. I mean, when you're comparing him to Lamar Jackson type running quarterbacks, and I know he ran the ball a good amount of time at Clemson, but it's different in the NFL. You're being pursued by bigger, faster people,
Right.
and he's gonna find out what a lot of people. One of the things that I did watch a little of was Malik Willis, and I know the reason I'm bringing this up to Derek is because Derek was very high on Malik Willis. There were a lot of people like me who just kind of said, I don't think so. Making the step from Liberty up to the pros is asking a lot. He dropped to the third round. He played yesterday. He was 6 for 11 for 107 yards, and he gained 37 yards. And the interesting thing about the game, if you saw that, was in the middle of a drive, Vrabel pulled him out of the game and replaced him with a backup guy. And his reason was that Willis just wasn't letting the ball go. He wasn't throwing the ball. He didn't trust his eyes, and he was using his legs to try to escape. And this is a problem for all young quarterbacks coming up.
You've got to read the field, period.
But it's fast.
Well,
it's so much faster.
You know what he didn't do yesterday, or
What's
whenever that game was? I didn't see everything because, Moo, we were talking before. My lovely TV was, didn't allow me to watch the game. But through streaming services of some sort, I did catch a little bit of it, and I saw obviously the highlights. Two things that I saw. The raw talent. I mean, the one scramble drill he had for a touchdown, that's incredible. I don't
made Kyle Hamilton look like a fool, didn't he?
Yeah, well, yeah, and that's the thing. Yes, it's preseason. Yes, take it with a grain of salt. But you saw the tools. He had one great throw where he just launched it downfield. Raw tools. That's what you saw from him. But at the same time, like you're talking about, he held on to the ball a long time. And he can't rely on his legs if he's going to be successful in the NFL. Right. And then the second thing I noticed, when we talk about Baker and how he didn't really step up in the pocket, I got a little bit of that with Malik Willis yesterday. Because a lot of times it seemed like he would drop back, kind of like what we've seen from Baker. He'd drop back, sit there for a second, and instead of stepping up or shifting within the pocket, he just bailed. So,
well, I think that's what happened. I mean, isn't that what happened to Justin Fields too? I mean, when you go back and you see how fast the pass rush is coming in at you, the second you take your eyes off of downfield, you're screwed.
That's right.
You become a running back.
He did that so great at Ohio State. That's what was weird to me about him last year. He had no problem stepping up in the pocket, but it's just trust, man. It's that NFL speed.
And it's skittish because, I mean, let's be honest, the guys who are playing the game, they're just, when you play for a really good program, whether it's Clemson, whether it's Alabama, whether it was LSU, or whether it's Ohio State, the separation your wide receivers get from the secondary is a lot bigger than what you get in the NFL.
Go look at college highlights. Go look at any of your favorite players' college highlights, and instead of watching them, watch who he's throwing to. 9 times out of 10, you'll see they have 5 yards of separation, which is insane, if not more.
Right.
And you got to be on the money. There's very, very narrow windows in the NFL. But, so going back to the original point, Deshaun Watson will be starting. How long he's going to be in the game, I don't know. They say, go ahead.
I heard 2 drives, but I don't know how true that is.
All right. And then the
2
other
drives.
2 drives.
That's
Well, they got to get Jacoby Brissett out there because it's
Yeah.
apparent
Agree.
that's who's going to quarterback this team for some time thereafter. But David Bell is supposed to play. But the question is, with him just coming off that stress fracture, he's probably only going to be in on a few packages that he's learned, and he'll be off the field. I want to see DPJ play. I want to see Njoku. But what I think you're going to see is a lot more Harrison Bryant. I really think that is I think they're taking a long look at a number of people to see who is stepped up from the previous season. I think that you're going to see Newsome in the slot, and you're going to see Greedy Williams outside, but I don't think you're going to see either of them for very long. Of course, we're not going to see Denzel Ward because they say he's going to be able to be back within the month. Because
I thought he was having surgery. No,
they say the report coming out of Berea is that he would be back within a month's time. And do you know exactly what happened to him, Derek?
With who? David Bell or Denzel Ward?
Denzel Ward.
No, he's one of the injured guys that I do not know about. So.
I'm wondering if it's like a knee bruise or something that's a real slow healer, or an ankle. It probably would be an ankle, like a high ankle sprain. Those types of things, they have to wait and wait and wait forever. So
give me 2 seconds and I'll find it.
Yeah, I really thought that the NFL was just going to be massive pricks and just come right out and say, okay, this morning, here it is. Here's a word from Peter C. Harvey. Good day.
Browns cornerback Denzel Ward expected to miss some time after a foot injury. So it says he underwent an X-ray and an MRI, which showed no structural damage. Although he was spotted in a walking boot during his football camp last month. Says Ward being on the shelf any period of time is a concern for the Browns. Yeah, well, that doesn't matter. But so it's a foot injury, but there's no damage. So whatever that means.
Yeah, well, it's held him out for quite a long time. So get a good long look at Deshaun, because I think after this, Peter C. Harvey will speak. Just so that you all know, if you're interested, those factions who have considered leaving the Browns fandom, you can watch Baker Mayfield play against the Commanders on Saturday. And I hope you enjoy yourself. I've been following him. I don't report on the Panthers. I don't care about the Panthers, but his last practice, he got 3 passes knocked down at the line of scrimmage by second-string pass rushers. And the coach was very quick to say afterwards, oh, that had nothing to do with height. Mm-hmm. We'll see. We'll see how it all plays out.
I do not watch the Panthers. Yes, they're Carolina Panthers. They're not my team and never will be.
Yeah, I was just never, that organization lost me when Superman played for them. And when Cam Newton was there, I never believed that I was watching the next coming. I felt like I was watching the next coming of Randall Cunningham, maybe. But I wasn't really, I don't know, maybe like Todd McNair, but I never thought that I was watching the next great quarterback. So, it's different when you see a guy like Mahomes play and you're going, what the hell? I mean, changing his arm angle and just contorted and throwing the ball and finding people and,
crazy.
Yeah, you get an idea and you get feelings about people. I think Joe Burrow is going to be a fine quarterback. And I think Herbert from San Diego really it's going to be very interesting to see how he makes the step from year 1 to year 2.
Let me do something. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, as far as the Bengals are concerned, I don't know if you remember, you may not, last year when the Jags played and he was against Joe Burrow, which of course was about the same class in college, that when when Phil started, and then the Jaguars overtook them and had control of the entire game until the last 4 seconds of that game. That 4 seconds could have kept them out of the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So, Justin Fields he's a great football player. Do I think he is an elite? I do not. He's good, but
Not yet.
Not yet, and maybe not ever with the Bears. You see,
and that's right.
And that's tough. I mean, where you get drafted, where you go is where you got to go. And a lot of quarterbacks, and we talk about the Browns. It's a graveyard for quarterbacks, and so far, so has Jacksonville been. Jacksonville's been the same way.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
And
I want to see what happens.
Yeah, when you get a kid coming out of a program that wins, and then you get slapped in the face by going to a team that loses, the question is whether that quarterback can keep his head up and keep his confidence level high. And, go ahead.
Yeah.
They haven't helped him at all either. That's another thing. Like we've sit here and we've talked about our wide receiver room and we have legit concerns, but my goodness, if I'm a Chicago Bears fan, you're telling me N'Keal Harry trading for him, that was our big move at wide receiver. I loved Darnell Mooney. I think he's a really good player, but my goodness. I mean, you got a young quarterback and you're not even going to attempt to help him?
That's just it.
Jeez.
I mean, if you're not going to win with possession receivers in today's NFL, and that's where the Browns, with the exception of Amari Cooper, who really is a high grade possession receiver. He's not necessarily your speed merchant who's going to beat people deep. He's going to be doubled all over the field, and he's going to get the same treatment that that a lot of good receivers get. And the question is, will he be able to physically take the pounding that they're going to give him? He'll be out on the field to start the game.
Oh, really?
That's my understanding. My understanding is that a number of people are going to be starting, but they're going to be in and out very quickly. And I think you're just going to see Jacoby Brissett in. I think you're going to get a real long look at the rookie Ford out of Cincinnati. I think you're going to see him and Dearness Johnson because that, I think, and I think everybody thinks, is a roster spot. I mean, two won't survive, one will. And we'll see what Ford looks like.
I'm excited.
We know what Dearness Johnson looks like. But Dearness Johnson can get paid to play elsewhere, He can make some money. Go ahead.
You know where I'm really excited to watch in today's game? That front defensive line. Guys will be mixed in and mixed out, but Isaiah Thomas, Alex Wright, Perion Winfrey.
Yes.
Tommy Togiai in year 2. I just want to see those guys, just to see the technique, not even who they're up against. It's not really about that. It's just, all right, go out and put something on tape, Well,
one thing that's happened, Perion Winfrey has shut his mouth, and which pleases me to no great end because, he started out, overly ebullient when he got drafted. And I think they've kind of put a muzzle on him. And I think he can be a good player. The problem is if you're coming out of college and you manhandled people, the question is technique. Yeah. And you're not going to be able to maul your way through the NFL. You got to have, some smarts to you, some technique, some
That's
finesse
right.
to your game, not just raw power.
Well, that's the other thing from tonight that I want to see. How do we line him up? Because if we line him up in that 3-tech pass rush from the middle, he'll be successful. But I want to see how much they're going to test him and line him up in some different formations and stuff. That'll be interesting. That'll be really interesting to see.
Yeah, I have no doubt that Josh Rosen will play, Rick, because if you have whatever couple of possessions that Deshaun's going to be out there, the rest of the first half is going to be Jacoby Brissett. Then from there, Josh Rosen is going to get plenty of opportunities to play his way right off the roster is what it amounts to.
Right.
We've seen it before with athletes. So yeah, but I agree with you, Derek, about the defensive line. There are a number of guys, and somebody has to distinguish themselves. And the question about Togiai is whether he can up his game, and there was no early signs of that in practices. Winfrey being as quiet, I've not heard anything good or bad about him. I've been hearing more about Jordan Elliott, interestingly,
Right.
as far as making greater strides. And who is the other one, Derek?
You talking about in the D tackle room, or are you talking just the
D tackle?
No,
Or
Tommy.
just D line, just D line.
Well, actually, the D line is interesting because you got your two rookies on the ends with Alex Wright and Isaiah Thomas, and then you have people forget new addition
Isaiah
Chase
Thomas
Winovich.
was the other one, yeah.
Yep, and then you got Chase Winovich, who you're going to add in that room, and then the Browns added Isaac Rochelle, who is a D tackle / D end. He's played a little bit of both, so it'll be interesting how they use him. There's a lot of questions on that D line. And speaking about Winfrey and his social media, like you were talking about, he actually deleted that himself.
That's good.
Oh, did
That's
he?
great. Yeah. I don't think
Now,
it's permanent, but
Winovich is a guy who, came here, and the question is he just going to be on the field for spot pass rush duty, coming out of a kind of a hybrid linebacker / defensive end kind of situation? He's an experienced player, but for some reason, I get the feeling that they're looking more at the other defensive ends because of their size. And again, I just think it's a matter of somebody having to establish themselves out there.
Oh my gosh.
What?
Big news for tonight. I mean,
what's up?
Jacoby Brissett will not be playing.
You've got to be kidding.
Now that doesn't make any sense.
No.
Yeah.
And where are you getting
Where
this
did
from,
you
Derek?
get that? There we go.
So
I know.
I looked it up because somebody had texted in a group chat and I didn't believe it, but there's a couple of different reporters here. I'll start with Mary Kay. She says Deshaun Watson will be starting versus the Jaguars, but Jacoby Brissett, Kareem Hunt, Amari Cooper, Myles Garrett among 10 healthy inactives. So, yeah.
So, yeah, they've got the wide receiver thing I can understand because, quite honestly, they have so many injuries, they can't afford another one.
Right.
But why Jacoby Brissett? Why?
It says healthy inactive, which makes no sense to me.
No.
Unless they're just planning on playing him most of game 2. But still, how does that make sense? Why wouldn't you treat him as a starter tonight and then give him a couple reps like you're going to do with Deshaun?
Right.
The only thing I can think of is that they're not wanting to risk it, but that still doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me.
What
it
if?
Is different.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, please.
Different. Okay. It's different on a practice cell when you don't have everybody, the thousands of people watching you, than it is when you step into that stadium. And for them not just to even play Brissett, to me, that's just unfathomable. They need to know what he can do and who he can work with best. I'm sure he has his chemistry with some of the wide receivers and, of course, running backs. But how are we going to find this out? The only good thing about them not putting him out there is they're not the opposing team, in this case the Jags, they're not going to know what he does because he's not doing anything on the field if he's not there, which you're telling us he isn't. We're not going to get an idea of when he's actually scanning across the his wide receivers. We don't know which one is going to be his typical choice. It has a lot to do with chemistry, but being out on, being on the field versus being on a practice field are two completely different venues.
Well, game speed is a huge difference, different thing too. I
That's
don't
right.
get it. And hi, Brett. How you doing, Coach Wilson?
Doing good. Yeah, I was just gonna actually talk about what Amsterdam's about to bring up. Like every day, more and more, I'm seeing Jimmy G's name come up.
I got a name for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
If you don't like Jimmy G, because with Brissett not playing tonight, they're gonna get a good look at Dobbs and Rosen. I mean, that's a for sure. If you're gonna make a move for a quarterback, Jimmy Garoppolo's still hurt. People forget that. Two names that have been floated around. The one obvious is Gardner Minshew. A lot of people are throwing him out there. My question to y'all would be, because personally, I would do this. If I'm Andrew Berry, I would do this. I would call Washington, and I would see what the asking price for Taylor Heineke would be. Because he's somebody who started last year. He was solid. He's not somebody you're going to bring in for the long term. But if Deshaun Watson's out for the year, I would feel more comfortable with Heineke than an injured Jimmy Garoppolo. And I don't think it's going to cost a whole lot. That's just me.
Yeah, and Hector's saying he bet it's just caution. But again, the fact that what surprises me is not that he isn't playing a lot, it's that he's not playing at all.
At all? Yeah.
Right.
I would be the first to acknowledge playing him for a long stretch of time would be like asking the football gods to impart their wrath on you. But you would think that he would get the same number of possessions as Deshaun Watson would. I don't.
It's very weird. Very weird.
And I think just the opposite, Mark. I don't think Dobbs could impress anybody based upon the fact that the Steelers, I mean, if you had a choice and you got thrown to the wolves because you couldn't beat out Mason Rudolph, and they only trusted you in your whole career to throw like 17 passes in Pittsburgh, what the hell? I don't think that Dobbs is going to impress. I think he is a piece of meat. And
he had decent receivers over there too, by the way.
Yeah, if the way I look at it is if he got hurt, he's expendable. That's the way the NFL goes.
Right.
It's a lousy thing to say, and Hector is basically, it's a sad state of affairs if we're looking at Taylor Beer Heineke and Garden Minshew. Yeah.
It is, but I mean, you got to look at the options.
Yeah, well, I mean,
I'll take the beer. How's that?
That me too. Gardner Minshew, another ex-Jaguar. They started hyping him a little bit when he had a couple 300-yard passing games, but that went away real quick. I think people were intrigued with what a strange name it was. So let's see what Hector is saying next. That's true. Watson, he's got to take live snaps. I get that. But I don't understand I mean, what you're doing is you're going out and you're assessing players. What you're doing is you're collecting film on players. This is the best I got for y'all. There you go. There's your y'all for you,
Thank
Renee.
you.
I mean, that's the best I got for you. Seriously, is that they're just accumulating film on these players that they're competing for roster spots, and it doesn't really matter what in the hell happens as far as out on the field. They're going to be looking at technique, who's getting beat, who's staying in front of their man, who's, all of the stuff that they need to assess for depth on this team. Guys like Emerson are going to be on the field for a good long while. The young players who get drafted, the second year people like Tommy Togiai and people like Perion Winfrey, that they're going to make the decision in a very shortened preseason who makes the roster and who doesn't. And everybody knows that Jacoby Brissett is going to be the starting quarterback. They've already announced that. That's not a surprise.
No.
The thing that surprises me is that in practices, he and Watson are splitting reps. So that's
why isn't he out there? He should be.
I don't know.
As opposed to taking the reps and on the practice field, and I understand why they would be more willing to take care of him there. But he's got to be out there. He's got to work with his group. That's great that he does, and they are having the reps as they are having them with both Brissett and with Watson. But the boy needs to be out there, and I don't understand why they would leave him off of it.
Here's another explanation, and I'm not saying this is the explanation, but a possible explanation. If in fact this entire episode between the NFL and Deshaun Watson does not get settled, if the NFLPA is forced to go for an injunction so that they can bring this to court, the belief within the Browns organization might be that Deshaun Watson is going to play the early games of the season. And that rather than just, now, obviously we know that Watson has just said that I'll take 8 games and I'll take, $5 million and that's my best offer. And, kind of like Renee negotiating on a Cadillac,
Right.
It's like, you talk or I walk.
She'll give the Brett treatment.
That's what I'm doing right now, literally, is making that decision. But hey, we'll see what happens.
For me, I wonder about this, whether Deshaun Watson is, they're expecting him to open the season at this point. And if that's the case, there wouldn't be a rush to play Jacoby Brissett. There would be a rush to get perhaps Deshaun Watson on the field to get some feel with some of the players that he's going to be playing with and get him some live action, which he hasn't had snaps after last year, missing the entire season. So this is a strange scenario, to say the least. But if you would have told me an hour ago that Jacoby Brissett was not playing, well, you already got my reaction live on the air.
Crazy. I mean, precautions or not, I'm very surprised that this is the step that they're taking. Very surprised.
Now, Deshaun Watson will be number 4, so you can identify him, because Anthony Walker said, I'm not 4 anymore. I'm taking number 5. So there you have it. And
Watson carries number 4 through from Clemson, which came from Steve Fuller from the '81 championship team. It was retired, and it had to be requested by Watson to have it brought out of retirement so he could take the number. In fact, he wore a patch to honor Steve Fuller from that '81 championship team. on his number 4 jersey every year. So he's been number 4 since he was in high school.
Yeah, I just looked it up. He wore number 4 in high school as well.
Right.
So, I think, of course, when you spend $230 million, somebody's got to step up and say, here's my jersey. And it just so happened that in this instance, it was Anthony Walker. And we know Anthony Walker's team player, and he's back with the Browns after a year away. And his question is, he's well regarded. He's a very good locker room presence. The question is whether his body will hold up. What I'm going to be looking for tonight, and it might be hard to find, is there going to be any indication of any change in offensive philosophy as far as the play calling this year? And I know that it's going to be a lot of plain vanilla stuff, so I don't expect to see a whole hell of a lot of it. But I'm just wondering if we're going to see some of the things in the 2 or 3 possessions that Deshaun Watson gets that he does so well.
Formation-wise, yeah.
Yep. And whether the problem I always saw with Baker Mayfield was that he would get back and he'd be half a beat off late. And a lot of the times guys like, Hooper and tight ends, there were no separation. What I'm going to be curious about is I want to see some of these quicker patterns, whether the quick release of Deshaun Watson and getting that ball there a tick sooner, how much of a difference this really makes to give your tight ends like Njoku an opportunity to run with the ball as opposed to be fighting with somebody for possession of the ball. So, this to me, how are we going to use the weapons that we have?
Yep. Michael Woods is not playing, by the way, so we won't get to see him.
No,
Where is he on the depth charts?
Well, I mean, a guy like that was showing out a little bit. Yeah, but with the injury, we don't know how long he's gone. Do we have any timetable on him?
Not that I know of. No, I don't know. Haven't heard anything.
Derek, have you heard anything about? I knew he wasn't going to play, but
it's a hamstring. I know he's been doing
week to week.
Some stuff. Yeah, so he'll be fine. It's just precautionary, I believe. Lions are kicking off right now.
Are they?
Or the Falcons are kicking off right now, I should say.
Man, I'm not going to watch.
And the O-line will be in long enough to protect Deshaun Watson. And Bridget, or is that Gidget, your quarterback? It's Brissett. For the first 6 games to get injured behind the second strong line. Well, again, he is taking reps. I mean, right now, a lot of the guys who are going to be on the field with the second unit, a lot of those guys are receivers, guys like David Bell, guys who are going to be on the field with the starters, but they have to get their feet wet at the speed of the NFL game and learning how to run the patterns and the timing and all of that. So, I don't know. You're not going to find a logical explanation as far as I'm concerned about this. And again, you would think that Amari Cooper would be playing and that Chubb would be playing. But again, Chubb is like the modern day Jim Brown. He don't have to play in preseason.
Right.
He's a man's man. That guy is just a brute. And why subject him to something? Amari Cooper also has been known to have some injuries. I see we have Bronk in merry old England. Are you going to be able to see this game at all, Bronk?
Yeah, I am. Because I paid for it. Yeah.
Oh, you got the NFL Plus package there?
No, I have the NFL International Game Pass. So yeah,
I am
150
so
pounds.
envious.
Well, are you getting NFL Plus, Renee?
Yes. As long as we get away fast enough, or I have to leave because I have not yet. No, I'm serious. I have not yet set it up on the television, so I've got to get that done. But
Wow. Well, this isn't going to be any overtime show. That's for darn
good.
sure, because I've got to find the game too and make sure that my stream is working. That's correct. Ralph the hot dog guy will be starting at wide receiver, Hector, and I doubt if he's going to get much separation from the secondary.
Is there a post game show tonight?
No.
Okay.
For preseason games, I'm not staying up late and doing that. I mean, what am I going to do when for 3.5 quarters we're going to be seeing God knows who? But it gives me a natural thing to talk about come Monday. Also, if I can manage to watch the Panthers, I can also soothe the souls of people who might be feeling bad that Baker Mayfield is gone. There's
Cameo
things
from
I want to
Coco.
analyze. I didn't get a chance to see the Ravens, and I saw that the Ravens backup did very well and completed 14 of 16, mainly short passes, but a very well constructed game plan. And
Do you see
close
that
to the vest.
beautiful? Do you see that beautiful throw he had for the touchdown?
No, I did not.
Oh my gosh, it was a left corner end zone pass, and I mean perfect ball placement. Tyler Heineke or not Heineke? Huntley,
It's
Taylor Hunt, whatever. You know who I'm talking about. He could be pretty good. Let's just say that.
Who is Montario Hardesty? Why does
Montreal
that name
Hardesty.
ring a bell?
I have no clue.
It was like second round draft pick from about 8 years ago.
and
But kept
he's
getting
not out
hurt.
there already.
Well, I don't know what Hector. I think Hector is just fucking with me.
Yeah.
I have no idea. Who knows what the Browns are
I
going to
think
do?
Lawyer Tillman had as long a career as Montario Hardesty.
Yeah, it's he was the lawyer who had the least earning capacity. So to me, that's the first thing I'm interested watching this game. Is just, will we see glimpses of maybe not what the plays are, but how they're executed and the timing in them between the previous quarterback and the current quarterback. The second thing is what Derek's going to be looking for. Will there be any defensive linemen in the backfield? Will we see interior linemen? And because we know that that Myles Garrett isn't playing, was who else's name was is our other the pass rusher
Clowney ain't playing.
No, Clowney's not playing.
not playing? So I mean, this is a real opportunity for Isaiah Thomas. He's on the one side, right?
Right.
Well, I'd imagine, if I had to guess, I'd imagine the starters are going to be Isaac Rochelle and Chase Winovich to kick it off at end, and then I think they're going to rotate Alex Wright and Isaiah Thomas in.
Right.
And then same thing with the interior defensive line. I think you're probably going to see Togiai and Elliott, and then you're going to see Winfrey and some of these other guys getting a chance. Plus,
Not Oprah.
well, plus some of these guys like Alex Wright can kick in and play inside like Clowney can. So I wonder if they're going to play around. Preseason's a time to play with your toys. So we'll see.
Keith brings up a great point. Hi, Rev. How you doing? It's good. It's good seeing the Reverend Kowalski back checking us out. Keith, I did see that. And, it really is embarrassing. I mean, that's the quality of hat that was.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
Did you see that?
That's
straight out of the dollar store.
I know. I mean, I'd wipe my ass with that. I mean, what the hell is that? I mean, thank you for buying season tickets. Here's a piece of shit.
Ooh. Hey, Bryan M brings up a fantastic point.
Kowalski, yeah.
Cade York is another one to really watch
yes. He's
Yep.
the guy. He's the guy that his average is 50 yards. That's average. He is 84% accurate. I've watched this guy. The guy's got it. And if he'll just be himself and not be intimidated by the crowd.
Well, my
That guy's gonna
understanding
go a
about
long
Cade York is that he is a very much within himself, mental, internalized kind of guy. And some of our best kickers, Phil Dawson and Matt Barr from the previous incarnations of the Cleveland Browns, what you have to do is you have to be able to shut the noise down and really kind of retreat into yourself so that your mechanics, your technique take over. And the whole thing is to keep repeating. It's no different than a golf swing. I mean, it's one thing to be out there on the driving range and to say, I'm doing everything that the pro taught me to do. But if you get out on the actual course and you're playing a competitive round, it becomes more difficult to drown the noise out. And for field goal kickers, it is a hugely mental game. And from what I've heard, Cade York is very strong internally. And we're going to find out because team's going to rely on him. He's the only kicker in camp. Any field goals that get tried, he's going to try
He's
them.
doing it.
That's it.
Hey, what's the weather down there? Are we going to be clear?
What in down here, the weather is really nice here. Let me take a look.
In Jacksonville, so
yeah, they're on the other coast from where I am. Let me go in and take a look at that, and I'll scale the map out. Okay, they're saying we're going to get thunderstorms here around 6:30. Good thing I'm streaming and not trying to do something with satellite television. Let's see if I can find the actual radar. Okay, here we are. Let's take a look and pull this thing out. Come on, radar map. All right. I'm pulling this all the way out to get me up to Jacksonville.
All right, I'm going to try to help you here.
Yeah, well, I got this thing running, and there are spotty showers that could go through Jacksonville, but around 9-10 o'clock this evening, nothing that is like going to create and wreak havoc.
Good.
So, but that's
it's going through predominantly Georgia.
Right,
So,
exactly. It's north. That's exactly right. So, yeah.
Good. Hopefully we'll have good conditions then.
Yeah, let's and you know, I want to see the kicker too. I'm kind of excited about that because we've just, what I'm not excited about is kick returning.
Oh my gosh.
I know. This is just to have to sit through another year of this is just not worth it.
How
Not
about that?
worth it at all.
JoJo Natson. Remember when we got him, he was our kick returner. He was the electric kick returner. Excited to have him. He gets hurt preseason. Then we have Jakeem Grant now, and he's out for the year.
We can't get anybody who helps us out. And, one of the things about Jakeem Grant, and I've really felt strongly about this, is that you really have you really need field position.
Aiden Hutchinson just leveled Marcus Mariota.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He rushed out to the. I'm sorry, I got the game on in the background while we're talking. Mariota rolled out to the left. It wasn't even a pass play. It was like a designed rollout run. He took off running. Hutchinson was coming from behind Mariota, kind of like stutter step for a second, and he just got laid out.
Here's another time, old school Moohead guy, La Hooper. How you doing? Jeez, I mean, everybody's coming home to roost. That's really nice to see. And Felton, Felton's got to find a way to make the team, and it ain't going to be as a running back, and it ain't going to be as a receiver. I don't know how Demetric Felton stays on the roster the way that it's constructed right now. But be that as it may, and Hector's asking if I'm doing a halftime show. Now, I know. I got a life to live here. I got to eat my meal. And first of all, I got a whole new setup here, and I want to make sure that I'm finding the right channel to watch because it's really like juggling. Streaming
Yeah.
is all new. I'm so used to having everything just within a domain, whether it's Spectrum or whether it's DirecTV or whether it's whatever. That's now it's gonna be like 52 pickup. So
to your point, I think Felton's only chance of making the roster is as a kick returner and then stash him as a wide receiver, which we'll
Right.
see. But it'll be interesting to see if we get Jerome Ford back there returning anything. That's something I'm paying attention to. And another NFL side note, Aiden Hutchinson is absolutely destroying everybody. So I know this is preseason football, but this is kind of fun to watch.
and the other thing is I'm laughing at Amsterdam's comment. T-Tosh is doing a halftime show, 60 minutes of no talk. That's pretty funny. And as far as Schwartz, is he playing?
I think he is.
Well, then he's expendable. He's going to be carried off the field pretty quickly. And boy, I'll tell you, no, it's a D, not a T. But yes, Barbara Feldon was Agent 99. And get smart. We're old. We remember these things. Yeah. Sorry about that, Chief. Okay.
I don't remember that.
There you go.
That
puts you in my age range, and that's not such a good thing.
Well, no, it's like I told you last week. I am only 12 years into the second half century of my childhood. So you might be 65. I'm still 12. You do what you got to do to get to your point. But
well, you have a vivid imagination. That would explain, Brett, why she's running after you. I had to, Brett. I'm sorry.
At least there's only a little bit of the show left.
Yeah. Gosh, Rev, I hope your child is clear.
Goodness.
That's just got to be a really, really tough thing, and nothing but all best wishes. My goodness, the divorce is bad, but a child with cancer. Oh my goodness. Just keep good thoughts in your head, man. What can I tell you?
I'm throwing prayers.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything it takes.
Right.
Anything it takes for a child. And yes, and the Rev has 2 virtual coffee mugs from the old Moohead radio show. That's right. And if you hang around, you might get a third. You never know. Mark Ross is saying, I got the NFL Premium. I'll keep everyone posted. Now, the NFL Premium is that the NFL Plus package that is?
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah, okay. That goes through the entire year, that is giving you the delayed games, but also in real time, the preseason games. There's so many things.
22. I think it's all 22 as well, if I'm not mistaken, which is like the game film.
Right. That was a cool feature,
Yeah, that's awesome.
And
for people who do this, yeah.
It's NFL Network blacked out in Cleveland. What is WEWS News 5 is showing the game in Cleveland, but NFL Network is not showing the Browns game in real time. Yeah. That I know.
NFL Plus is hopefully what I'll be watching, and it appears it will be.
Yeah, that should get it done. All right. Here's Hector is spelling it out for us, and then we got to get running because Renee's got to set up her NFL Plus.
Yep.
Wide receiver Amari Cooper, Anthony Walker not playing, Jacoby Brissett, Greg Newsome is not playing, Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, John Johnson III, Joel Bitonio, Myles Garrett, and Jadeveon Clowney. Well,
so Teller's playing.
Teller is, yeah, and Penn is not.
So the offensive line will be Wills, and then who's going to fill in? Are they going to put Chris Hubbard at left guard?
Hance, Hubbard,
Hance, yeah.
Hance, Hubbard, and yeah, but
Dunn, Dunn's
obviously
still there.
Harris is going to be your center for
Yeah.
exchange, with the quarterback. So wow.
Have they said anything on Conklin? Is Conklin going to play?
The implication here is that he would play. I don't know if he's healthy enough to, though, but they would have given him as a scratch if he wasn't.
I'd imagine maybe for those first 2 drives.
Yeah.
For Watson.
Oh, okay. So the NFL Network, Tom's saying, is going to rebroadcast the game at 3 a.m. this morning. So I can put that on my DVR. That's kind of cool about that.
Why do they wait to the last minute and we pay for something?
Yeah, I know.
That's why. Because they want you to pay for it.
Well, they got me again. It was Game Pass last year. This year, I'm not playing Game Pass anymore. Those people will rip you off big time. And I got it.
What happened? It just wasn't working?
No, what you'll be seeing might be a portion of a game after the fact. That doesn't work well for me, but I might go to sleep tonight early and then come back and try if I don't get set up. So.
Okay.
Oh, there's always a backup plan.
Well, 12-year-olds do get to sleep early.
You're right.
All right, everybody, I got to get the heck out of here, and we're going to do what we can to cheer our Browns on, and let's see what happens. Everybody, thanks a lot for tuning in. Everything that you either see or don't see this evening, we'll be talking about on Moohead Radio on Monday at the usual time, 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you, Brett. Thank you, Renee. You know that I appreciate Derek. Thank you. And be watching, Derek, because we're going to want to hear from you on Monday, okay?
Will do. I'll probably watch it a couple times.
Good. Me too. That's why I want to get that game at 3 a.m. DVR'd so I can, slow it down. So
Kadero Hodge is a Falcons receiver, huh?
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I think unless this is a different Hodge, but he just caught a pass.
All right, man. Got to get out of here. Thanks for tuning in. And until Monday at 6, hasta la vista, Pastor Heads. Good night.
Go Browns.